What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Trust the Bank podcast. It's after week 9. It's a live stream. Joshua, I gotta mention one guy, and let's just talk about him to start off. Keaton Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on that big game?
Oh man, come on, man. You know what my thoughts is, baby. JK's gone. Listen. Justice Hill, his offensive reps is about to be shortened. Because anyway, Justice can't stay up on his 2 feet, and it is sometimes before the contact. But we all have seen the highlights of Keaton Mitchell. We've all heard of Keaton Mitchell from coming out of ECU. I don't know if we did a video on Keaton Mitchell during draft time, but if we did, we did probably talk about our undrafted rookie free agents, and I know for sure he was one of the guys that we did highlight and talk about, especially with his father, part of that 2000 Super Bowl team. I believe his father was actually undrafted.
He was
free agent. Yeah. So it's a lot of ties to Baltimore. It's a lot of history, and he had his chance to shine. We always felt like he can be that guy that can make things happen. He came back from injury. He did get that one shovel pass the week before and made some things shake. We saw what he could do in the preseason when he had the ball in his hand. We just finally need to see what happened in the regular season. Hey, y'all, we finally got the time. We finally was able to see it. Nine carries for 138 yards. Hey, man, listen. I know everybody still want those design runs out of Lamar, but hey, we got a home run hitter.
Yeah, and like the way that it all worked out, it was like the Ravens were like, all right, let's throw it in there. Because John Harbaugh talked about it. I'm sorry, brother Jim talked about it. Yet to change the name. But he talked about it, when they got him the football on that, shuttle pass, a week ago or a couple weeks ago. And it was like, okay. He said that, he's been working his tail off and he's looked good on special teams. They wanted to give him an opportunity. And they were like, more opportunities are going to come. And in this game, it felt like they were like, let's give him something. We're up by, we're winning in the second half, but like, let's give him something. Let's see what he can do. And he rips that first one. And that first run, it's not going to make the top 10 plays of the week, but it was like, oh, so he is what we thought. Like he is what we were hoping he would be. Yeah. And he just goes up there and he is able to go through contact because he's a little guy. He's not a big bruising back, but he was just bouncing off of guys and he fights through the contact and he's able to get like 9-10 yards. And I was like, okay. And then the Ravens are like, do it again. And he runs the ball, fights through contact, gains like 7 yards on his next run. It was like, man, get him the ball again. And then just kept feeding him. And it showed the Ravens were like, okay, show me again. And he just kept doing it. And then all of a sudden he breaks the 40-yard touchdown. I was like, man, what can this guy do? Then his next touch is a 60-yard run. And you're like, whoa. This is the burst. This is the speed that we've been looking for at that running back position because we have Gus Edwards and we know what Gus Edwards is. Gus Edwards is a bruiser. He's one of the best bruisers in the NFL. He might be the second best bruiser in the NFL behind King Henry. But Keaton Mitchell came in and he showed exactly why Ravens fans were so excited that we got him. And, why we've been asking the Ravens, please play Keaton Mitchell because we've been looking for a speed burst alongside Lamar Jackson. And he showed it against a fast Seahawks secondary. Witherspoon, Reek Woolen, Reed in the secondary. They've even got fast linebackers. This is not a slow defense. And Keaton Mitchell was just zooming by everybody.
And when I was texting you through the game, I said, he reminded me of number 10, from Kansas City, from the Kansas City Chiefs team. Isaiah Pacheco, I believe I'm saying his name correctly. And, when you look at the body frame, Isaiah is 5'10", 216. Keaton Mitchell, I just looked it up. This was during his sophomore year. He was 5'9", 184. I'm pretty sure he's in the 200s now because he is in the NFL. Granted, Isaiah maybe had over 124 carries, 500-something yards with Kansas City and 3 touchdowns. He averaged 4.2 yards. And if you watch Kansas City football, he's a small, compact dude, but he doesn't go down easily. If you watch Keaton Mitchell during the preseason and even, in last week's game, he can take some contact he can still, turn up that next gear. And he doesn't go down easily. That's what we need. I mean, if he's anything like, possibly, Ray Rice, on the field, of course, before injuries and everything else, that is another push that gets us over the hump in the playoffs and possibly to a Super Bowl. I mean, we definitely talked about, the running game. Talking about getting a running back during the trade deadline to help Gus Edwards out. And, we had to just trust the process. Shout out to Lisa that kept on saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's what they did. They didn't, it wasn't broke. They didn't have to fix it. They had somebody in the stable, which we usually do when it comes to running backs. And they usually show out for us. And, shout out to Keaton Mitchell. I want to see him continue to progress. The run game is going to be a key thing that's going to be, our bread and butter to help us, along the road, especially with some of the games that we have for the second end of the season, because it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. It's getting cold out here. I know some teams still throw the ball, but that's not us. We love to throw the ball. I mean, we love to run the ball down team's throat, take off time of possession, throw when we need to. And I like what I saw, and I hope he definitely continues to build off of that.
Yeah, and we talked about it when we saw the schedule for the Baltimore Ravens this year. Wow, that's a tough second stretch, but that was a good thing because this is a locomotive. This is a team that takes time to build momentum, and they play their best football against the best teams. And they've played against, division leader Detroit, who people were talking about as a top 5 team. They played against division leader Seattle Seahawks, who I don't think they were the best team in the division. I think the 49ers have been the best, but record-wise, they were the number 1 seed in there, and I think they were the 2 seed in the NFC. And they go in there and they just curb stomp them. And you're like, okay, they're building that momentum. Now you're coming back into a tough stretch. Division rival, with the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. And you're going to see, okay, how are they able to continue this momentum? Because this defense is playing lights out. The offense is playing very efficient football. And Joshua, I think this reminds me, this is the closest we've been to 2019. And I think this team is better than 2019, but closest to 2019 in terms of ability to just crush teams. Because remember 2019, it was like, dude, we play random teams, maybe like 52-10, I think was week 1 against the Miami Dolphins. We beat the Rams by like 35 or 40 in prime time. And that was a good Rams team. That was the Rams team that was that went to the Super Bowl the next year and won it, or 2 years after that. But that was a team that was like, the Ravens were just crushing all these really good teams. And you're like, okay, this team is legit. And then like the next 2 years, it was like the Ravens stopped blowing teams out. And like, yes, they could compete and they could beat anybody, but it didn't feel like that oomph of that, oh, I don't want to go into Baltimore. This team has that I don't want to go into Baltimore type of feeling. And remember, we don't have to go on the road for any more divisional games.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to come to Baltimore. And the hope is they're able to continue pounding teams and continue showing off this great defense. Joshua, they've allowed 9 touchdowns. Their defense has allowed 9 touchdowns. We've played 9 games.
We're playing some good football, man. We're playing some good football. I mean, it's unreal. I know the one thing I do not like is, I don't know how you feel about it, McConnell. I don't like when the media starts getting a whiff of what the Ravens are doing. Because once they start getting a whiff of what the Ravens are doing, they start talking about the Ravens. And the Ravens are like the child that you can't congratulate. It's like, you got to keep this child focused. You can't, just because, you did X, Y, Z doesn't mean you can start slacking off. If you got all A's, in school, that doesn't mean you can start taking off, some tests and stop doing your homework. No, you have to stay on it. You have to keep on working. If you want to be perfect, you have to keep working at your craft. And that's where this Ravens team, needs to get to that point. I love the fact that Lamar, when he is being interviewed, especially when they talked about the whole NFC, record and things of that nature, he deferred it. He just say, hey, man, this is another game. I'm just worried about the next game, hopefully getting another win. And I think when you see your head guy, your franchise guy take that type of leadership role, to kind of defer the media like, hey, again, this is just another game. This is another Sunday. This is another Thursday. This is another Monday. We're trying to get to the second season of the NFL, which is the playoffs and eventually the Super Bowl. It speaks volume. So hopefully, and then you got Roquan Smith, who damn near is like an embodiment living version of Ray Lewis. I mean, I heard his speech. I hear how he's talking in the media, and he's standing on business. If this was a boxing match, he remind me of Bud Crawford versus Earl Spence at the weigh-in. He had on black Air Forces. McCullough, if you ever heard the story of when someone wear black Air Forces, they're standing on business. That's a dangerous man.
Yeah, you walk on the other side of the street.
You know,
you do not mess around with that.
Everybody on the defense is wearing black Air Forces, man. I love it, man. I love it. I need them to continue shutting out the outside noise. Continue playing their game. Continue with the consistency and execution. That's the whole motto for the rest of this year for me, for the Ravens. So if they stay on it, it's going to be a hell of a ride.
Yeah. And I just like I don't want people's expectations to get too high. Like, we don't need to expect the Ravens defense to go out there and hold teams to under 10 every single game. Like, that's not the hope. That's not the expectation. Maybe it's the hope, but it's something where it's like, okay, they just need to be, able to hold teams and stop them for a little bit. When you go against these high-powered offenses like the Chiefs, you're not going to hold them to 10, but you want to go out there and you want to hold them on 3 possessions. Get like 2 quick stops in a row, and you're like, okay, boom, we're back in it, because they're going to score a lot. These high-powered offenses, they're going to score a lot. However, if you're able to hold them down for a little bit, for a quarter, for 2 drives, that's the difference in the modern NFL, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to win every game like the Ravens did in 2013-6. Instead, you're able to win, and you're happy with. Like, I loved how the Ravens defense played against the Arizona Cardinals. And we allowed over 20 points.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's not like, don't look at just the point total, just look at the drives and the stops. Because when the Ravens score quickly on offense, like they did against Arizona, there's more drives and teams are able to get more possessions off and score more points because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still playing very good basketball. I'm sorry. I got a basketball on the right. They're playing very good football. I apologize. I'm watching OKC right now. But overall, like, I think the Baltimore Ravens and their defense is playing just about as well as any team in modern football could. And the offense is starting to really get things going. They're starting to pound the ball in the red zone. And this may hurt Lamar Jackson's MVP chances because he's not throwing for a lot of touchdowns, which people are, upset about, when somebody brings up Lamar Jackson for MVP. They're like, what do you mean? His stats aren't good. You're like, yeah, the stats aren't great with Lamar Jackson outside of 2 things: yards per attempt and completion percentage, because he is dominating the NFL in those 2 categories. And that's just the efficiency of the offense. Lamar Jackson's the conductor. The team is the locomotive.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they're playing better than anybody in the NFL. And hopefully they're able to sustain it come playoff time.
Now, something I like against the that we did against the Seahawks. I want your opinion on it. We put Odell in the slot.
Yeah,
I think we need to see more of that. And there's nothing against Odell. Honestly, I feel like your best route runner, your best hands should be in the slot, because usually the best route runner can be arguably the 3rd best corner on the team. And I feel like, if you put Zay on the outside, you put Rashad Bateman on the outside, who is building up confidence these past couple games. So shout out to him too. We love to see that. We've been talking about that. We thought, we didn't think it, kind of a little bit. We thought we had another Miles Boykin situation, but obviously they're putting it together. And I think putting that veteran in a slide position, especially with Odell and his health issues and things of that nature, I think that's going to help the team out a lot. I think it's going to help those young wide receivers progress a lot. And also between Odell in the slot, and then you have Mark Andrews as well on the outside, and he pretty much had a Travis Kelce type of game. If you didn't, I don't know if you paid attention to it. He kind of was running his own damn routes last Sunday. Almost.
Oh yeah, scored a touchdown doing it.
Yeah, let us see it, man.
Actually, no, never mind. I think the only passing touchdown was never mind. That was 2 weeks ago. But yes, he was running his own routes. He's like the way that the Ravens play offense, the way that Lamar Jackson plays quarterback is unlike anything we've ever seen, at least in the modern NFL. Because I'm sure, Frank Tarkenton was running around and playing playground football. But let's be honest, very few people have been watching the Frank Tarkenton film as of late. The Y.A. Tittle film. Nobody's watching that anymore. All right. That's how they used to play, but we're not watching that anymore. So when a quarterback goes out there and he just kind of plays like he's just having fun, he's playing on the playground. It's just it's so unique because you're thinking, why would a guy ever stop here? His route. He wouldn't. You try and figure out what they're going to do, and you try and run that route for him.
Yeah.
And Lamar and Mark and Zay and even Bateman was doing it too. They'll just be like, no, change. And they'll just do it. And it kind of reminds me, I think the best comp is Ohio State football because they run an option route type of system where most plays, the wide receivers have an option of, okay, they're going to go deep or they're going to, they're going to run a wide receiver option route. And that's what the team is based on, which is part of the reason why people say that Ohio State quarterbacks can't process the field quickly. And that's because they have to wait to see what the receiver does before they throw, because he might stop and then they throw it deep and people are like, man, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Thus, CJ Stroud didn't go first. Oh, excuse me. I don't know what that was all about, but shout out to CJ Stroud, Ohio State quarterback.
Yeah.
But they're just going out there and they're doing things that nobody else is doing in the NFL. And they now have Zay, Bateman, and a lot of people were hating on Bateman because he had a poor game. Joshua, he's been practicing and he's been getting better. And that's what we've said is he's on the field and practicing consistently. That's when he's playing good ball. When he misses the week of practice and then he's questionable and he just he warms up and plays, it's it doesn't work out. It just doesn't. Get him on the practice field, which he's been doing, and they're going to succeed with him as a wide receiver 3. And Odell at slot, I love it because he's got the good hands. He's able to get those quick slants open. He's a savvy route runner. He's able to do it all. So I'm all in on doing that with Odell Beckham Jr. and allowing Zay Flowers to be the guy on the outside, because what can you do on the outside? Quick bubble screen, quick screen pass. You can run these, digs, you can run them deep, you can run them, double moves, all that sort of things where I think his game translates better, even though he's smaller.
Yeah.
This is the modern NFL. A smaller guy can play on the outside and a bigger guy can play on the inside.
Yeah. And shout out to Zay too. Was that Devin Witherspoon or which?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zay, shout out to you, baby. You put that boy on skates, man. Got him out the way, man. And you love to see it, man. When dudes can just cut on a dime, make moves like that. It's a fun nuance. I love the fact how Rashard Bateman, over Bobby Wagner was in the vicinity, excuse me, and he stretched out and caught the ball yo, that's your second time in 2 weeks. You feel me? Fighting for the pill, making it be known. Hey, hold on now. I better watch out, because I feel everybody. I don't know if you watched First Take this morning or did you? If you got a chance to saw it, Stephen A. gave us top 5 teams. Ravens number 1. What did he say? Eagles number 2. Kansas City number 3. Who was? I
think it was that? Bengals.
Yeah, Bengals was at 4. Jags at 5.
Yeah,
and of course everybody gave their critique. And Jeff Saturday said, "Whoa, why are we putting the team in the NFL with the best record at number 1 and at number 2 when you just said the XYZ and things still got to be ran through the AFC? Things still had to be ran through the Chiefs and the AFC. When we're talking about this season, the most dangerous team is Baltimore, and I'm not just hopping on Baltimore's bandwagon because I'm a Ravens fan. Just look at it. Yes, you still got to respect the Eagles, of course, but they're not the same Eagles from that Super Bowl team. They got new faces, new pieces, and they're struck. And I mean, honestly, they struggle more than us against their own NFC rivalry games versus when we struggle against like the Steelers or the Bengals. They barely got that damn Cowboys game this past Sunday. Chiefs. Chiefs just lost to Russell Wilson. I mean, yeah, the defense playing great. Defense playing great ball. They went to Germany, beat down Miami. Miami can't be the team that has a winning record over 500 and things of that nature. But the Baltimore Ravens is a scary sight to see right now. I'm pretty sure this defense is top 10 in interceptions and turnovers, and possibly sacks as well. I know you know the numbers.
Let's check the numbers. Let's see. Let's check the number. I know we're number one in sacks. We better be number one in sacks. I'm pretty sure we are. Let's see here. Team defense leaders. We lead the league in sacks.
Okay.
Interceptions, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're tied for 6th.
Okay. Top 10. Top 10, we take that.
Actually, no, we're tied for 5th.
Okay.
Top 5. And I can't see fumble turnovers. But we're top 5 in yards. Top 5 in completion percentage allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Top 2 in yards per game, passing, just passing yards. Here, I'll go to total. Here we go. Total yards. Top 2 in total yards, 262 per game.
Okay.
And we're number 1 in points.
Listen, I know we're not all, we're not supposed to always go by the numbers game and stuff like that. We don't always go by the PFF rankings and things of that nature. But right now, and I will argue our second slate of our season may be tougher than some of those other guys. And everybody's gonna see how we are really battle tested and how we fare. Honestly, if San Fran gets it together on Christmas Day, that's gonna be the prequel to the possible Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah.
I low-key got San Fran once they get Debo back and they get things rolling, possibly beating out the Eagles. I'm gonna say it. I do feel like they could possibly beat out the Eagles.
Yeah, I also think, remember, Joshua, we talk about this every year in the offseason when the schedule comes out. Look at when the primetime games are. Ravens have not played in primetime. It's coming up. We got Bengals in primetime. We've got Jaguars in primetime. We've got Niners in primetime. We have Chargers in primetime. We have 4 primetime games. Chargers, Bengals, Jaguars, and Chargers.
And the Steelers keep on winning. I know that's a TBD. That possibly will be a primetime game.
That'd be a great Sunday night football to end the season. Is Ravens Steelers?
Tell me about it.
Playoff implications on the line. Right now, the AFC North is the entire wild card.
It's crazy. It's crazy as hell right now, and I'm loving it. And I mean, I don't like everybody else, but I love the fact that everybody is now getting a mojo back at least, and they're making a fighting charge. I know everybody, try to put so much emphasis on, Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and stuff like that. By all means, keep it going. Put all your emphasis on them. When we match up against them, I promise you this time around, in this year's playoff, it will be a different story. You have a vocal leader on that defensive side of the ball that's not going to go out quietly. Also, you now have an offense, where, hey, he's feeling comfortable. That franchise QB is feeling comfortable. Did you not see that he took over? I forgot which quarter it was when he started running the hurry up offense, getting everybody to the field, to the line of scrimmage, making those sharp passes, moving the ball, giving the ball up to Keaton Mitchell. Man, listen, Todd Monken and Lamar keep on building their trust for each other and keep on letting them do his thing. Listen, it's going to be a scary sight. I know people had their doubts and things of that nature. Everybody's throwing a pick. Tom Brady's throwing a pick. Peyton Manning's throwing a pick. Aaron Rodgers definitely throwing some picks. Pat Mahomes threw some picks. Josh Allen, let's not even talk about him. Joey, he's throwing some picks. That stuff happens. And two things for sure, I can say that Lamar is stepping into an elite class of QBs, and he does know how to win.
Yeah, and knowing how to win is a very strange concept because every player's in the NFL. Dude, if somebody can find an example of a player in the NFL that this isn't the case, they've won at some point. Whether it was college success or high school success, they've won. Like if there's an NFL player that just was on a horrible high school team and then a horrible college football team and then a horrible NFL team, let me know because I'm very interesting to see those numbers. But most of the time it's like, oh yeah, this guy dominated, especially at the quarterback position, right? Oh yeah, this guy was a 3-time state champion. Like that's like every quarterback, it seems like in the NFL nowadays. And then you see the running backs, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy was the rushing leader in high school, which makes sense. They were the best player. They made it to the NFL. But winning in the NFL is different. It's harder because everybody gets to that level and they've won. And Lamar Jackson is one of the best winners the NFL has ever seen. He just consistently goes out there and does exactly what he needs to do to win. Sometimes it's not pretty. Yeah. And it's a bad game from him. But down the stretch of that game, there's nobody I'd rather have than Lamar Jackson trying to lead a drive. And I think it's the same thing when you look at other guys that are seen as winners, right? I think Tom Brady's the best one. How many ugly ass December football games did we watch the New England Patriots go, oh, we're down 13-6 in the fourth quarter, and then they're able to come back and win because they just get it right at the right time, and they go down and they get that one drive that they need to win the game. And that's what I feel like the Ravens do with Lamar Jackson. And that was the disconnect, right? Lamar to Huntley, right? It was like they'd be in the same type of games. And with Lamar, it was like the Ravens win every time. And then with Huntley, it was like just fell short, right? How many one-possession games did we lose with Tyler Huntley as the starter? All of them? like Tyler Huntley started his career, he was like 0-6. And they were all one possession, 3-point final drive situation games where we just couldn't close the deal because the execution was just a little bit off. But with Lamar Jackson, down the stretch of the game, trying to close it out or whatever it is, I got full faith in number 8 to get it done. Just like I do with number 9. Like they're going to get it done.
Yeah, well, I mean, with number 9, as long as he stay away from Royal Farms chicken, he'd be okay. Because do y'all got Wawas out there?
We do not.
Okay, but y'all do have like gas stations where they sell food and stuff like that. Things of that nature, right? Yeah, so that's how Royal Farms is. Big on chicken, sells gas, snacks, all that good stuff. Okay, and a lot of the guys, either it's like M&T Bank, the actual bank that they are the spokesperson for that place, or either Royal Farms. Right now, Justin Tucker is the spokesperson for Royal Farms, and I don't know where he be hanging out in Baltimore. I know he used some Baltimore slang on one video, and he always, doing the Royal Farm commercials. I need to stay away whatever part of Baltimore he be at, and I need him to stay away from that Royal Farms chicken because we're gonna need him. But I mean, I love the fact that Brandon, he brought up the fact that hey, we got the Cleveland Browns, and I don't even believe Week 4 was at full strength, and now it may be out of that 53-man roster today, only 2 guys in the practice. We said it early. These guys gonna be hurt. Let them be hurt early in the season.
Yes.
Excuse me, because when they come back, they're gonna come back at the right time, and that's exactly what just about everybody is doing. We don't know the significance of Tyus Bowser, David Ojabo. I believe Marcus Williams has returned to practice, and Morgan Moses has also returned to practice. But Morgan Moses is a give and take with him. Sometimes we just you just never know which Morgan Moses we're gonna get. So we really don't count him. Um, but I do hope hope he is ready against for Za'Darius or even Myles Garrett. We can use all the strength on both sides of the ball for sure. And yeah, and I love the fact that he brought up that we didn't have a Kyle Van Noy neither in week 4. So we do, with that addition, I'm still Jason away. As long as he keep on progressing, he has to continue to show me something. He has to continue showing me something, and I feel like he can. But I feel like he missed. Did he miss another sack last week? I know he missed the open one.
He did miss one sack, but he did get another. He did get a sack in the game, but he did miss one. Geno ended up scrambling. He got he didn't get a big gain. It was like a couple yards, but he did miss one.
Okay, and I know he was in the front of the press talking about 10 sacks and all this other stuff. And for any player, you're supposed to have high expectations for yourself, and you're supposed to be playing at a high clip. They clearly see something in you. I'm waiting to see it. And when he does show it to the world and to myself, by all means, he has another supporter. But right now, I'm kind of on the fence. I want to see him succeed though, but I'm on the fence right now for Adafi. I do hope he continues to make progression because I feel like he can be another key factor on that front seven that's going to help us out, along with just Madubuike, Travis Jones, and company.
Yeah, and I think that this defense, I think that's the best part about the defense is it's not one guy. I mean, Kyle Van Noy 2 sacks in a row, and then had the second one being a strip sack to end the first half and give the Ravens the ball back after they fumbled themselves. We see Clowney dominate for stretches. Then we see Justin Madubuike dominate for stretches. We see Michael Pierce dominate for stretches. And we've seen Adafe Away dominate for stretches. Every single player. The Ravens defensive line, they're not known, but they're all unsung heroes on this defense because everyone talks about them, right? And they bring up Marlon. They bring up Geno Stone. They obviously bring up Roquan. They bring up PQ.
Yeah.
Very few people are bringing up Kyle Van Noy, Justin Madubuike, and the rest of those guys on that defensive front getting those sacks because that's what makes the defense go is the pressure. The sacks, the quarterbacks can't get comfortable. They can't get comfortable. And then you see passes like Geno threw to Geno where they got to get the ball out quickly.
We called that one.
Oh, yeah.
I was hyped as hell when I saw that one. He definitely tried to press the issue.
Yeah, it's just like they get flustered. Because when you're hit over and over and over and over again, you want to get the ball out quicker. You get afraid when somebody beats their man, or you start to see someone make a move. You're like, I got to throw it a little bit quicker. I got to, rush my release.
Yeah.
The Ravens are doing that to every quarterback they face, and it's getting them turnovers and bad throws. And it's just making the defense get that much better.
No, exactly. I mean, and the even funnier thing about it, you don't even hear too much about the corners. And we talked about it, in the beginning of the season. One department of that defense is going to have to step up to take off pressure off one another. And it's been the front seven. Granted, Brandon Stevens has played great ball. When Ronald Darby has stepped in, he has shown that he still can play at a good clip. Shout out to him in the recovery of the ACL, and he's been staying healthy. Shout out getting Marlon Humphrey back. Even though Marcus Williams went down, Geno Stone stepped right in. Kyle Hamilton, I'm not going to say he's a headhunter, but he is a thumper for sure. He plays good ball. I do feel like that was a BS call over in London. But hey, that's their way of saying that they're trying to protect the players. It's so much you can argue now in this nuance of football because they're doing it in college too. So but this front seven, like you said, man, they got a lot of unsung heroes right now, and these boys are shining. And Spooky J, Ronald Darby is still on the team. Surprisingly, when you don't hear somebody's name come up, that could either be a good or bad thing. But he's on the field. Rock Your Son, excuse me. EB's on the field. We see Arthur Millette has made his appearance. Getting on those blitz packages and things of that nature. So those guys are out there, man. But no, I mean, I love it. The real question is, how are we going to pay these young men? That's the real question.
Pay Madubuike first. I said it a couple weeks ago. I'm saying it again. That's the guy you have to keep on your defense. It's Justin Madubuike.
Do we feel like
with Roquan?
Do we feel like Justin is $100 man?
I think Justin might be a $110 million man. Like I think he's probably getting 20 million. Or at least 18. I'd pay him 20 million a year. Because like that type of interior pressure is so rare in the NFL. Like it's two guys. Mm-hmm. It's Aaron Donald and it's Chris Jones. Like that's it. Those are the two guys that have been able to do it. And Madubuike is doing it better than anybody else in the NFL. And because of his dominance, teams are allowing one-on-ones with everybody on the outside. And that's why the Ravens outside guys get sacks. And then they go, man, Kyle Van Noy's doing well. We got to double team him. And then Madubuike just splits the middle, gets through that A gap. You're like, well, there goes the pocket.
Yeah.
And Mike McDonald's done a great job with the stunts and blitz packages to be able to get it. But I also said something else at the beginning of the season, Joshua. I don't know if you remember. Keep Mike McDonald at all cost. At all costs.
Listen, if that means letting go, brother, a Jim, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it because I feel like his course has ran. I've been felt like that. But yeah, I like the fact that I think if Justin Madubuike wants to stay in Baltimore, I feel like they could work out a deal. Yeah, if he's looking for big money, I see him leaving. I can definitely see him leaving, but I feel like he will be first priority because if you let him leave, you're asking Travis Jones or Broderick Washington to now step up, and that's not the case yet. I feel like Travis Jones could be a household name, but he's not getting that much rep because Michael Pierce is playing good ball. Michael Pierce is playing good ball. He's playing like how he did when he started here in his rookie year almost.
And we have $27 million in cap space for next year.
It's going to be tough.
And Ronnie Stanley's making $26 million next year. So if we were to part with Ronnie, I'm not saying I want that, but if we were, we could save $17 million as well. But also remember, we got the franchise tag. So we could use that on either. Probably we would use it on Madubuike over a Patrick Queen because Patrick Queen, you don't want to pay like a top because I think salary the tag is you're paid as the fifth highest player at that position. I want to say, or something around that. You don't want to pay Patrick Queen as the fifth highest paid linebacker, but you'd pay Justin Madubuike as the fifth highest paid interior defensive lineman. So like it's more worth it for that. So we could definitely franchise tag him, but I'd rather just get him the big extension.
And I don't know if you saw it. Some people talk about trading away Marcus Williams. Do y'all not know who our defensive coordinator is? McConnell, remind them who our defensive coordinator is. Mike McDonald. Didn't Mike McDonald at Michigan ran three safeties at one point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
he loves the three safety look.
So no, hell no. I'm not trading away Marcus Williams. When Marcus Williams come back healthy and they find a way to keep Geno Stone around, him and Kyle Hamilton, all three back there, it's going to be a spooky damn sight. I promise you. Don't be surprised if we do not see that against, a possible Cincinnati team. I wouldn't be surprised if we get Marcus Williams back by that Thursday night game. I feel like we will possibly see a three safety defensive lineup.
Oh yeah. I mean, look who they got over in Cincinnati. Dax Hill, guy they used in the three tight end or three safety sets.
Yeah. And they're going to need that. I mean, still, Cincinnati have arguably one of the best wide receiver cores. Joe Burrow is going to try to throw the ball. What's the best thing to do? Put one of your best athletes on their tight end. Have your ball hawk, stay over top in Marcus Williams, and have Geno Stone roam around that mid level. Our defense,
Exactly.
our front seven is putting in enough pressure where I feel like they will flush out Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow will be distressed as hell.
Yeah, and Mike McDonald's done a good job against the Bengals. The Ravens have done a good job defensively against most teams against every team in the AFC North, because they face them so much. They know how they want to operate, and they're able to kind of limit some things. But again, that doesn't mean we're going to lock any team down. We got a tough matchup against the Browns. We got a tough matchup against the Bengals. But, looking at this week, our first time facing Deshaun Watson in a while, at least when the Ravens are at full strength.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how this defense plays against them, because when we played against them the first time, they were kind of getting used to just using Jerome Ford. They had PJ Walker at quarterback. No, they had Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback.
I think PJ came in like
PJ might have come in at the end. Because DTR was struggling. He was struggling against the Ravens defense. But now we know, makes sense. Makes sense why he was struggling against the Ravens defense. This is a really darn good defense. But I don't know. I'm just excited to see how they play out the rest of the season. Knocking on wood, hopefully the team's able to stay healthy. But, this has been a lot of fun. Keaton Mitchell having that breakout game. It's just like the next step of I think teams watching the Ravens are like, man, they got this now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of when the Warriors just kept getting random vets that were former stars. It's like, dude, how did they sign DeMarcus Cousins? You're like, really? Did you really need Boogie? But they still got him because they're well, why not?
Between, I do not like the Warriors, but I give them their respect. They do know how to get vets, and they do know how to develop guys out and bring them out the G League and plug them in where they need to be plugged in the regular season. So shout out to that organization. They've been doing it for a while. Because look at the development of Steph Curry. He's a household name. Name. Spooky J. I don't know how I feel about this, baby. I'm fine cutting Ronnie and OBJ in favor of Makari and the wide receiver in the draft.
Well, OBJ's a 1-year deal.
He's on a 1-year contract. If anything, I see if it came down to it, I don't see Ronnie not restructuring his deal. He's done it.
That's true.
He's done it on many occasions. Marlon Humphrey also done it on many occasions. Hell, even if it gets tight enough, I could see Roquan say, "Hey, man, we need to keep this guy. Do what we got to do."
Yeah,
let's talk it out.
No, we could definitely get a Marlon restructure. We could definitely get a Mark Andrews restructure.
Mm-hmm.
We could get we could definitely get a Ronnie restructure. He's making $11 million in base salary. I mean, Lamar could restructure if he wanted. Lamar probably wouldn't restructure. It's only year 2. But the Ravens definitely have some options with, how they can handle some of the things. But, remember, if the Ravens do sign Odell back, they could actually save money because of how they deferred some of the money in the contract to help the salary cap. Yeah. The rollover years, I believe it's called. So, next year, Odell has an $11 million cap hit. And the only way to get rid of that is to resign him.
That's true, too. And honestly, y'all, is Gus on his last year of his contract extension?
Dang, that's a good question. I feel like he is. Let me check. No, Gus Edwards is under contract next year.
All right, so hey, we good on that. But no, we didn't draft the left tackle, Brandon. We drafted the right tackle. If you're referring to Daniel Falalele, he's an actual right tackle.
Unless Salah. But we're not starting Salah, I'll say that. He's not playing left tackle for us.
I mean, we got a red shirt right guard right now. I'm looking forward to see what he can do. If anything, if we make it in the late rounds in the first round, which 9 times out of 10, that's what's going to happen. That's what's like going to happen. We're going to be maybe mid-20s, maybe even 32 come this year in this year's draft.
Yeah.
At 32, if Keon Coleman is there, I'm pulling the trigger. If we let Odell walk, excuse me, I'm drafting Keon Coleman.
Dude, Keon Coleman with that size, with Zay Flowers and like Rashad Bateman, I'd love that. I love Keon Coleman. I'm a huge fan of that Florida State team.
You're talking about a 6'4" athlete. I don't know about you, McConnell. I'm watching Florida State versus Miami this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I watch as much Florida State as I can. I love Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
I love Keon Coleman.
Playing good ball. I
really love that whole team and the way that they play because they're just a fun team to watch.
And the running back. Oh, man. That's my guy.
Like, that's a fun team to watch. I'd love to get somebody off of that squad. As long as it's not Jordan Travis, because we don't need a quarterback.
We're good on that.
We're good there. But is there anything else you want to talk about in this episode, Joshua?
No, man, I'm good, man. I'm ready for Sunday. It's going to be a long slate. We got Sunday, then we move straight into Thursday night football. So I hope these guys are well rested. I hope these guys are prepared, man. And I think for everybody, of course, coming through, talking with us, having fun with us, man. This is what we love to do, man. This is what we love to do. We love to see our guys win, constantly get better, and let's keep on flying, bro.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for coming through. Subscribe for more. We'll see all you again next time.